First of all, just proud of our guys. Our number one goal this week was to be 1-0. We accomplished that goal. It was kind of a crazy, bizarre game, and I thought, we thought coming in that their defense was very solid and had a lot of speed, probably the fastest defense we've played. And we did not execute like we like on offense. And I think, you guys know how we've been offensively the last 4 weeks, and today was not it. So disappointed in how we came out. Had a couple of drops early. Had some penalties. I mean, just kind of sloppy. It just wasn't clicking like we've accustomed to the last several weeks. So, but proud of our defense, the way they played and kept keeping Central Florida out of the end zone. If it wasn't a couple of fluke plays, they probably don't get in the end zone. Man, I've never seen the play, the fourth down that bounces off us and back to them, and they get a first down, and then they get bailed out, and get the call there and end up scoring a touchdown. So. But what we've shown is that we can win in a lot of different ways. Offense down at Kansas, lit up the scoreboard in the yardage, and then today we didn't, but the defense came through. Special teams has been very solid throughout the whole season. I thought today was another great output with Fletcher. I think 4 balls inside the 20-yard line, including the one there at the end on the 2. Steven knocking down field goals, guys covering kicks. I think they started on the 10-yard line one time on a kickoff. So just really proud of the way those guys are continuing to play at a high level. The bottom line is, we're sitting here at 5-1, and we just, finished this game and won our 3rd conference game in a row, and we got a lot of things we can get fixed. That's a good thing to have, and we're excited about this opportunity we have coming next week.
Could you sense early that the offense wasn't clicking? Maybe the drops.
A couple drops early. Yeah, we had 2 early.
Yeah.
A hitch and then a sideline ball that we normally catch. And that just because we're a rhythm offense, and if you don't get that rhythm going, and I think today we had the most 3 and outs we've had this season. I don't know how many, but let's say 4 or 5. And that's just not what we're accustomed to, and so get the first down, and then all of a sudden now we're rolling and our guys getting great rhythm, and we just never had that. And then they had the ball a lot, so it's hard for us to get back and get in a rhythm. Is a little bit kind of like I felt like last week too, because they had the ball right at the end of the half, and they get it coming out and the long drive, and then we go 3 and out, and then I think they had that 17-play drive. I mean, they had a 17 and a 19-play drive. I mean, it's incredible, So yeah, that was just the problem for the offense. Never got in rhythm.
Is there anything you do to try to kickstart that, or is it just a matter of getting that first down, getting going, and it just never happened?
Yeah,
really?
That's it. You got to make a couple plays to get it going. And we just didn't get it going. And I give credit to them too. I think they got a really good defense, a solid defense that has done. Look at their stats coming into this game, and then watching the film, they're very quick. They have some long edge guys, some big guys in the middle. Number 20 their linebacker's a solid player. They have good speed in the secondary, so give them some credit as well.
You've seen a lot of football. Have you ever seen a 9-minute drive that ends in a punt?
No, I don't think so. It's hard to keep track of all the stats and how things went, but that one drive that went 19 plays, they ended up scoring on that one. That was wild. And then, I felt like today we had a lot of 3rd downs to defend and 4th downs again. Was 18 and then 6 4th downs. I mean, that's a lot, and, at some point I felt like, we got a couple PI calls on those 4th downs, and then the fluke play that bounced off us, and they called it on the 4th down. So, but I thought overall defense played really good.
Cam Fancher ran 20 times for 108 yards. Do you feel like if quarterbacks are going to try to rely on that the way your defense is set up, that it's kind of a benefit for you guys that you can control them?
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job in the pass defense, and so that's why you had to run so much. I mean, he had 20 carries today. Most all of those, probably maybe other than 3 or 4 where they're called Q runs, were him not anywhere to throw it and just having to go scramble and get some yards. There in the second half, I thought we did a better job of putting, Goldie got a couple good hits on him. When he sprinted out, he started to feel it a little bit more in that 4th quarter. He was getting tired. It looked like now they had the ball a lot. So, but we had to get some more hits on him. And I think, coming out of halftime, that was one adjustment that we needed to make.
How important is your depth on defense? 90 plays that UCF offense had, and you hold them to 11 points.
Yeah, it's incredibly important because we sub. You guys see us. We sub the D line all the time throughout the game, and really those linebackers as well. There's about 6 linebackers that are rotating and subbing. The safeties have about a 5-man rotation at safety as well, and then today at corner, I think we had a 3-man rotation at corner. And if you guys notice, like a lot of times when they sub, we're sending dudes in, because obviously the referee will hold the ball, and you have to keep them rotating like that. Otherwise, you just can't do it. 90 minutes or 90 plays, and 40 minutes worth of time possession. But we're built for it. I think we got the depth to be able to not have much fall off when the next guys are coming in.
Coach, winning obviously always a good thing, but when you say you have stuff to fix while you're winning, as opposed to if you were losing and it's very glaring that you got to fix this, when you're winning and you have stuff to fix, how do you make sure that the guys are doing that and they're not getting complacent because you guys are winning?
Oh yeah, our offense is not going to be complacent after this one. I can promise you that. I mean, we did not play good. The guys know it. Everybody. I mean, it wasn't one person. I mean, it was everybody. So that's good. So we'll rip everybody come tomorrow. I mean, it's not good enough. I mean, it's not, quite honestly. I mean, as we move forward into this conference, we got some tough games. We know that, include starting again next week. Going on the road, Oklahoma State. I mean, so we got to get better to where we don't have the letdown like we had today offensively. Because we have an offense. We got a lot of good players. We have a really good offensive line, good quarterback. I mean, we're good everywhere. We got to keep the pedal down and just keep being aggressive. And those guys got to expect to make those plays.
When you look at the UCF offense coming in, they're one of the most explosive offenses in the country. You guys did a great job of keeping them under 10 explosives, rushing and passing. What was the key game plan-wise throughout the week to doing that? And it's kind of become a label for you guys defensively to keep stuff in front of you and let teams kind of mosey with their way down the field, but not ultimately give up too many points.
Yeah, because I think sometimes if you get too aggressive defensively, somebody's going to get behind you, and there's 7 points. I mean, we defended a lot of snaps today, but only give up 11 points. Like you'll take that, And I think for us, it's really and truly just trying to keep it in front. Hope they make a mistake somewhere along the way, and we get off the field. And that happened today several times. And that's what it's all about. Obviously, I think we'd love to get create a couple more turnovers in there. We did win that today, so we had a fumble, had a couple balls tipped that we probably could have had an opportunity to get our hands on. I mean, that's probably the best we've done with that so far this year. I think so. I can remember at least 4 right now. We had our hands on it, close to picking it off. I just think once we break the seal on that, we'll start getting some. We have not yet. Still waiting on it. So we have another opportunity next week to try to do that.
Coach, during the game, we saw a nice tribute from you for the late Sean Clark. Given his passing and your shared history, how have you done with processing his loss these last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, number one, it was a shock. Whenever I got the news, a few weeks back, and then I was getting updates every single day, from some of our buddies, and actually a couple guys went down to Orlando when he was in the hospital, and I'm getting updates every single day about how he's doing, and sounded like he was doing a little bit better and all those type things, and then you get that one dreaded phone call that you don't want to get. Man, just extremely sad, really, for Janelle, his family, his 2 kids, and Sean was a teammate of mine, coached with him, and a great friend. And that bond, I think, that bond that you create as teammates, it never loses you. Losers get away from you. I mean, so we were tight. And they had just moved down to Orlando. He was loving it. Loving Coach Frost and, living down there. And, it's just sad. And, it just tells you how precious life is and how we have to live life to the fullest each and every day. And the people that you are around, love on them. That's really, what we've been kind of talking about the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Looked like you rotated the offensive line a lot more than usual, and then Jude Milan got a lot of run at right tackle. What are you seeing from that, or why did you rotate?
I mean, just trying to create something, a spark, something up front to see if we can get something going. And that's basically what that was. We've had several penalties up front too, and we're obviously trying to, what can we do to deter that? And we had another touchdown call back today. I think that's 3 conference games in a row where we've had a touchdown call back. We don't like that trend, so hopefully we can start eliminating that. But I told the guys last week, a lot of that's on us. Like, we have to play better with that. We have to not create those penalties and do better, when it comes to that. Just shooting ourselves in the foot.
And then speaking of Sean Clark, it looked like you were lining up to run power when that fumble happened.
Yeah.
Did he trip on Tangastal? Was that how that happened?
Yeah, the pulling guard, and sometimes, you're under center and the guard gets there a little bit quicker than he anticipated, and it clipped his foot and he fell down. But that was the power play on the 1-yard line.
When you 6 games through, halfway through the season, does it feel like special teams has taken the biggest leap and been maybe the biggest factor in you guys kind of turning it around in full force from last season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a big a big positive for us. There's no question about that. As I've talked about this, but the margins are so small here in the Big 12, and you have to find ways to gain advantage. We were not the last couple of years gaining any advantage in the teams really. And so far this year we've punted the ball really, really well. Stevens knocked them down. Our guys have covered, have taken pride in covering, and then we've popped some returns like last week. We had 2 big returns. So the winning those field position battles, obviously really helps you to win. So yeah, that's probably one of the biggest swings I would say from the last couple of years to this year.
Is that what you envisioned when Coach Pascal became available? He's got a great reputation.
Yeah, great reputation. He's really fit in well with our staff. Very smart coach. And it's awesome to have a guy who's just really sole focuses on special teams. Tim Connor's been with me as well, and Tim works great with Luke as well. They have a little team of specialty guys, and they're just with them guys all the time and scheming up things that we can do to help give us an advantage. And they're fun to work with, and it's fun to watch those kids go out and play and take pride in the special teams. None of these kids were recruited to come play special teams other than the kickers, right? So, like, all the other guys who are on those teams, you have to inspire them to go out and play hard on the teams, and Coach has done a great job with that.
You had 4 straight games over 30 points, 20 today. So how much of that was execution? How much was UCF, or is that determined tonight and tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll go back and look at it. Part of that we ran 44 plays, and 49 plays. No, how many plays did we run? 48. Part of that was we didn't run many plays, and then part of that was lack of execution, 3 and out, But I do think they're a good defense. I do think they have some talent. They fly around. They made plays, so give them credit as well. So it's probably a little bit of both, but certainly something for to go back and try to get better at.
Jack, you ever played in a game where the team, the offense you're playing against runs 90 plays, but you only give up 11 points? And what does that say about your defense and their resiliency?
No, it just shows a lot of improvement throughout the week. We knew what they were going to do. Just especially the front 6, just stopping the runs, our key emphasis. Just fighting out through the week, just improving, and we knew what we had to get done, and we just knew what they were going to do, and we ended up stopping them.
You finally got to him, but how squirrely was Fletcher?
He was quick, man. You saw him get juked out there. But we knew all 3 of them could run. We didn't know who we were getting throughout the week, but we knew they were twitchy, and we knew they could run, and he just put an emphasis of just working on tackling them with leverage all week.
Is there a part of you that kind of took pride in the only way that they could move the ball in large part was by Fletcher running?
Yeah. We just throughout the week we just stopped the run, and we knew just not a huge pass team. It was just all about stopping the run, and we had to show that on Tuesday and Wednesday in practice, and just see what we could do there.
How frustrating is it that you guys are in the right spots, and then a flag comes out, and you're like, God probably didn't touch him, and now the series is still going on,
it's
right?
tough, but you can't control that, man. You just got to move on to the next play. There's things that we can't control. You just got to move on and worry about the next play and see if we can stop them then.
This team's identity from the outside has been offense,
right?
And especially after week 1. In a game where you see from the jump, maybe the offense, this might not be their day. What are the conversations? What's the mentality like on defense, knowing you guys have to step it up?
Just go out there and execute, man. Just play after play, one play at a time. Just keeping it one play at a time. Stop their run game. That was just the emphasis all week. We just take care of our own. Get our offense the ball back. That's just a huge thing for us.
Do you guys feel more pressure in a game like today?
No. We take it one game at a time. It's the same. We got to prepare better and better each week, and that's just how it goes.
How much discipline does it take in this kind of bend but don't break style to not get frustrated, to see them maybe 3 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, they're just slowly moving down the field? How hard is that to stay in the moment?
Oh, it's tough. You just one play at a time. That's how you look at it. It's definitely hard. You're getting a little frustrated there, but you just got to keep your poise. That's the one thing we always talk about: just keep your poise and keep going, man. Just one play at a time.
What allowed you guys to kind of keep the snowball from rolling downhill today, maybe like it might have in prior seasons? Obviously, you've been here the entire time as this rise has happened under Scott,
right.
and it felt like you guys were in control. even though the offense wasn't executing all day versus over the last couple years, a turnover would happen or something crazy would happen, and then it would end up being really close right at the end.
So recently we've been starting out fast, and then come out of halftime and a little slow. So in the halftime locker room, we were emphasizing, man, we got to go. We got to get out there, start fast, and just do our job. And that was just our thing. And that's what we did really well today.
Max, some chip shots today, more of those than normal. Do you have to dial to calm yourself down to know, like, I'm not trying to hit this thing 50 yards?
Yeah, I think for those ones, it's just trying to tee it up and go a little bit shorter. I mean, it's like golf, I guess, like a little chip shot in, but you just got to see what the wind's doing and, make sure Manny and Quavo down the ball, and they did on the last one, so I'm proud of those guys.
How's your conditioning? You're out there 5 times today.
I'm trying to help this team win, so I'm confident, in my abilities, and, if I need to go out there 5 times and help the team win, then, I'm happy to do that.
If you're honest, are you surprised at all about how good the special teams has been when thinking back to how much they struggled the past year when you were here?
No, I'm not surprised. I think Coach Connor and Coach Pascal have done a wonderful job. Coach Pascal getting here in the summer. He's probably one of the best coaches I've been around. His ability and his confidence in me really helps me go out there. And like I said, last week was a big example, and confidence is the biggest thing. And I'm happy to go out there and do my job. So,
what's better, a 70-yard blast or pinning them at the 1 or 2 yard line?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh, I don't know. Probably a pin him inside the 1. I think that's a big momentum shift. Like the last one, help the defense out and help win the game. So,
what is it about Rusnak that kind of makes him successful? Because I feel like he's a rather calm guy when he goes out there and kicks.
I think he's like the way he handles himself. Like you said, his calmness to go out there like any other kick. I'm not surprised. Every day in practice he's professional. Extra treatment, extra film. Whatever it is, he acts like a true professional, and that's the main thing. Go out there, and I'm confident in my snapper Eli Stein, and that's the main thing. So.
What's the big? Is there any huge difference for you this year looking at the punt game versus last year looking at the punt game? Has there been any big tweak, or is it just kind of everybody being more on the same page and kind of executing what's in front a little bit better?
I think everyone being on the same page. Like I said, Coach Pascal, getting a new scheme is the biggest thing, but he's done a wonderful job. Guys like Christian Harrison, Jake Goldie are on the punt team, and I think they do a wonderful job and help me out, and I think that's really good. So.
How much do you talk to your brother? How much you guys communicating and talking about things?
It's tough. I mean, the game was on at 1 a.m. so in Australia. So
he's back. He's back in Australia.
Yeah. So, but the game started at 1 a.m. there, so it's hard. But I text him when I can, and like I said, he's always watching, and I'm happy. He's doing good. So.
Did you get a sense early that the rhythm just wasn't there, and how do you try to get out of that?
You just got to try to find a way to move the chains, try to get in rhythm. It's really tough. We just had a lot of mistakes, just little mistakes here and there that just kind of throw off the whole play. So we definitely got to get that stuff corrected, but found a way to win, and we will take that.
Did you think you and Caldwell were going to have a day there for a bit?
Oh, yeah, especially after the long touchdown and then the second touchdown. But, he still had a solid day. We still had a all right day as an offense. Still end up finding a way to put points on the board, I guess, when we needed to. But we still too many 3-and-outs, too many mistakes, too much sloppy ball.
Have you been able to look at the Goody play, and do you think he could have gotten that second hand out there? I saw you debating it on the sideline.
No, I gave him a hard time about it, but I put it a little bit out there. He kind of got tangled up whenever the kid fell down from UCF, and then he got rolled up on early in the game, so he could have been dealing with that. I don't know what it was, but going down down the line in these next few games, we gotta hit those for sure.
You didn't have your normal flow, but the defense stood up. Like how having complimentary football, how important is that for you guys to have the success you guys are having?
Yeah, we don't win the game if it's not for our defense. Playing really well and keeping them out of the end zone and keeping them from scoring points, but. We got to find a way whenever they are playing really well to go help them out and continue to put points on the board and build momentum off of it. We can't just, have 3-and-outs and rely on them to continue to make stops. We know this is the Big 12. We know offenses are good, and they're going to find a way to put points on the board. It's just the nature of it. So props to our defense. They played really well today, and they got us this win.
On the wide open throw to Royer, it looked like you were given like a eye motion. What were you kind of signaling to him or trying?
Just feel yourself that open and just kind of give me your eyes a little bit earlier. That's it. Really good catch by him, bailing me out there. And we work on that throughout the week. So just a little bit of a miscommunication. He did a good job of bailing me out.
Did UCF do anything schematically on defense that maybe you weren't expecting or caught you off guard?
I wouldn't really say not expecting. I would just say, we were just too sloppy. Had a couple of missed throws, a couple of drops, couldn't get the run game going, just all the little things like that, it's tough to get into a rhythm whenever those things aren't going your way.
Pre-play, I feel like I see you directing traffic a lot, moving like 3 or 4 guys. Is there a part of you that thinks that might be happening a little too much 7 weeks into the season?
Obviously we want to go fast, and sometimes whenever you're going fast, it's, there's some of the guys will just have a brain fart because sometimes we're just using one words and you got to know where you're going. Sometimes the one word just is hash dependent. Sometimes the ball's in the middle of the field, so you just got to kind of direct traffic and just make sure everybody's lined up. So, and then on the touchdown to Jeff, the reason it took so long was just, you'd rather have Jeff out there than, no offense to Gavin Grover, but you would rather have Jeff out there than Gavin. So just trying to direct the traffic there and find a way to get everybody lined up.
When you do win 5 straight and one game comes up where the offense isn't playing to its potential, how do you avoid complacency because you saw you could get away with it and still walk away with a conference win?
I would just say that nobody's, we're happy with the win, but nobody's satisfied. Nobody feels like we just went out there and played our best game by any means. It's a UCF team that's really good on defense, and we got to find a way to put points on the board regardless of who we're playing. So going forward, we know the standard of what we can be, so we got to get back to that, as fast as possible.
Being 3-0 in the Big 12, though, are you guys taking any time to enjoy that before your next game, which could make you bowl eligible?
We'll enjoy it probably until we start watching film tomorrow. Once we're done watching film tomorrow, and then it's on to the next.
You've really cut your turnover-worthy play rate, just your putting balls in bad traffic, just into harm's way, and that was evident today. I don't think I really saw any turnover-worthy plays, and maybe it gets logged eventually. But is the lack of pressure in the protection you're getting kind of letting you work through your progressions more and making you more comfortable to be able to get to, I can throw the ball away here, or I don't have to necessarily put it in harm's way?
Yeah, and just, trusting our offense and trusting Sat to put us in the right situations too, knowing that, hey, we can throw the ball away and live to fight another down. We got an unbelievable punter that can flip the field for us, kind of try to play the long game there if we have to. Obviously, our goal is to move the chains and put points on the board every drive, but it's not always going to happen like that. So at the end of the day, we talk about playing complementary football. Sometimes you just got to throw one away and live to fight another down and trust our special teams unit to flip the field, and then defense to get a stop, and then us to go put points on the board on the back end.
I think you only had 2 possessions in the third quarter. What's it like when they're going on like this 9-minute, 17-play drive? Nothing happened out of it, but you're wanting to get on the field, I assume.
Yeah, it's tough for us, but it's tougher for the defense, obviously having to be out there that long and to find a way to stand up and keep them from, scoring anything, especially when they're down 3 possessions, I think it was. They can drive for 9 minutes and, not do anything, and that's fine with us. But after that and after our defense gets a big stop, we got to find a way to go put points on the board and keep our defense off the field. Obviously, if we score a touchdown in one play, I don't think our defense is going to be mad at us. But if we have a 3-and-out, that's unacceptable. So we got to find a way to just keep the drives going and put points on the board.
A couple more snaps under center this week, iron things out.
Yeah, we got to find a way to just continue to just get the under center game going. Obviously, we had a couple plays today. The goal line play, we kind of got tripped up a little bit. That can't happen. Just all the little things. We had too many mistakes today as an offense that we will get cleaned up.
How tough is under center for quarterbacks these days? It's not 10, 15 years ago. You never take snaps under center. How difficult is that?
I wouldn't really say it's difficult. We rep it all the time in practice, and, we're making sure that our mesh is good. It's just certain things have to happen the right way for the play to hit. They didn't today, but we'll make sure it gets cleaned up.
Jeff, how important was that early touchdown to get the offense kind of off the snide and get some points on the board for the team?
I think it was really important. Just the fact of I felt like our energy coming out was kind of dead, and just being able to bring a spark to the offense and just getting the ball rolling was really important to me.
You make the end zone twice. Second one, you had a little shimmy there in front of the kids and all. Do you think it's going to be your day?
You know, I just felt like I got lucky today with the play calling. I don't know. Yeah.
You've made multiple really good catches, like showing
Thank
off
you.
your ball skills.
It means a lot.
What do you do to train that? Is it like a lot of coordination? Is it just reps? How do you go about training
I think it's a
that?
little bit of both. Obviously, just as a receiver, you got to keep your hand-eye coordination, I guess, to a T. So like just jug machines after practice, things like that, and just I would just say it also just comes down to trusting that you're gonna make that play, trusting that when the play's called, you're gonna make that play.
Do you think you could have got that second hand up there in the first half?
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. That's on me. I'm sorry.
Second half, when UCF has the ball all that time,
Sheesh.
what are you guys doing on the side? I mean, how is that boring, aggravating? How do you describe that?
No, it's a little bit of both, honestly. We want to get back on the field and get the ball back rolling. But like when the defense when those long drives happen, you just got to be able to encourage the defense and just tell them like we have their backs, just things like that. I mean, I don't know what we really did. I was just kind of swatting away the bugs and stuff, but other than that, yeah, no.
When the offense doesn't have a game up to its potential like it has had, but it's formed its identity, but you continue to win, how do you avoid complacency this week?
We know that with each game that we keep winning, each game gets better and better. Obviously, we came out. I don't think the offense had the best day that we were expecting, but we got out with a win. It's hard to win in the Big 12. I think we're just going to go in tomorrow, watch the film, get better, and get ready for Oklahoma State. So, yeah.
How much trust is there in this team? How can you compare it to any other team you've been on? Just 5-1, and the multitude of ways you guys have been able to win throughout the season has been pretty impressive.
I'd say no. I can't really. No, not really. Not to any other team. But I feel like it all just starts with just playing complementary football with each other. Offense complements defense. Defense complements offense. I feel like we have firm belief in each other. Even if we mess up, we know the other side's gonna go get it back for us. So that's good to, and just good to have, knowing your heart.
So you guys have a lot of weapons, and today was your day. Like, how do you stay in a moment to be like, hey, it might be Cyrus one day, or it might be Goody. Like, how do you stay in a moment to be like, hey, my number's called, I'm going to make the play?
Just continuing to just take each practice and make it as hard. Harder than the game. I think. I just feel like, when you have so many weapons, it's just fun to be able to, see your other people have good days. Just happy to be able to get in the end zone 2 times and just, yeah.
Early in the season, teams were focusing on Joe heavily. Then Cyrus gets hot. Seems like teams are kind of paying extra attention to him now. Can you feel that? Can you sense that, like, okay, the attention's going here, so I've got a chance to make something happen?
Yeah, when you have a player like Cyrus, my goodness, you got to put 2 over him. But he's in the slot, so you can't really, But, I just feel like when they're taken out of the game, someone else has to step up and make a play. So, whether that be Goody, Noah, Isaiah, who you name it, I just feel like we're all ready.
Do you guys give Joe a hard time for not?
My gosh, we want him to get in so bad. God, I don't know. We got to talk to Nico or something. We can't keep having that. No, we can't.